Hey, John, my name is James Masellan from Movie Death Blows. Thanks for taking the time to sit down with me today.
Yeah, you got it. How you doing, James?
Good, good, not bad. So, what made you want to take the role of Jordan Devane as the modern day pirate in Into the Deep?
Well, uh, well, I never did a shark movie before, so that was, kind of cool. Filming in Thailand, they said, "Hey, here's this film. Richard Dreyfuss is going to be in it, who, from Jaws." So it was like, "Oh wow, shark movie, Jaws." It's filming in Thailand. All your scenes are going to be on the water in a yacht in beautiful Krabi, Thailand. Okay, let's do it. So that was part of it, but it's just like I said, I never did a shark movie before. Character, playing an antagonist in Jordan is interesting because I always look at things like whether you're playing a good guy or a bad guy. What's the in between? Well, we all have good and bad in us, right? So what causes somebody to lean one way more or the other way more? What happened to them or what's the reason? And so when I looked at Jordan, I say, okay, he's a former Navy SEAL, that's a respectable thing. I mean, he obviously the training to become a Navy SEAL is is amazing. So he and his buddies are all SEALs. They did something amazing that's very respectful, but they made a bad decision. They made a bad decision, landed them where they are. And all of us in our lives are one decision away, I think, from making a bad decision that could, lead us into a place that we don't want to be. So, this is where he finds himself. And I think Jordan, the main thing is he wouldn't say he's the bad guy, not having to face himself in the mirror is kind of who this guy is. It was a little intriguing to me to try to find, who this guy was.
It's the complexity of the character and everything like that.
Right, right.
I talked to Scout last week, and I was like, Scout, I don't know if you know this, but Richard Dreyfuss was in this movie, and he was in Jaws. Did you get to talk to him about, I don't, you guys were never on screen together. I don't know if you guys got to talk like off screen about what it was like filming, with that shark and everything like that movie.
Yeah, I know. See, I would have, but I never met him. I would have. I would have loved to ask him a lot of questions. I would have liked to ask him about what about Bob, or Mr. Holland's Opus,
Mr. Holland's
um,
hopeless.
right? Hopeless. But she did. She got to meet him, and I know she talked with him and stuff. But I never got to meet him.
You've battled dinosaurs in La Brea, criminals in Chicago. You've been in Oz. Where do sharks rank up on the opponents that you've faced at that point? Are they high? Are they low? Where are they on the list?
Uh, let's see. What did I face in La Brea? I faced some dinosaurs and some gigantic alligators or something, crocodiles and stuff. uh, it's up there because I got to tell you, man, we're talking about Jaws. When I was a kid and I saw Jaws, I couldn't take a bath without thinking a shark was going to come out of the water in a bathtub. So, it was easy for me to try to react, because obviously the sharks aren't there when we're filming.
Don't give
But
away the secrets, John.
yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, I should have said they were there actually, and I battled the real sharks. But
Exactly.
Christian Sesma, who directed it, he showed us kind of what the sharks were, from an illustration, what they were going to look like, But just thinking about the fear I had from watching Jaws, and while looking at water, I can't imagine. So it's kind of easy to react to, but yeah, it's pretty cool.
I was born in '86, so Jaws was already out when I was younger. But my dad told me we'd be safe in the water as long as we didn't hear the music. We were fine. So I was like, "Oh,
Right, right.
good to know. Good to tell your 5-year-old if we'll be fine in the ocean."
Right. So you saw Jaws when you were like, those are the effects that everybody was scared of. That's right. Well, I was scared of when I was a kid.
Did you have any previous diving experience? Did you have to take like the scuba class and everything like that Scout and the rest of them did, or was just you were just on the boat the whole time?
Yeah, no, it was easy for me. I didn't have to because I was the only time I went in the water was at, plummeting. I wasn't diving. So yeah, I didn't have to do any of that.
You had worked with the director Christian, I think, previously on another film, right?
No, I haven't. This is our first go together.
I must have read something wrong in the notes and everything like that. But I wanted to talk to you for the longest time. Like I'm from Chicago originally, so obviously we know
Oh, okay.
Chicago PD and everything like that. Is there a chance now that La Brea is over, we see Antonio pop back up in Chicago at some point?
Well, you know what? I had a great time in that show. Loved it. I didn't want to leave, but look, things evolve, things change, and everything. But he's still alive, and I love the show. Like I said, love the cast, love everybody, love everything about it. I think the show's what it's like 500th season now or
12th,
something, still
13th,
going.
something like that.
Right. So I mean, look, I'm always open to it. I mean, if they called me and said they wanted to, reprise Antonio or bring him in for whatever, I'm always down for that.
You had such a talented cast on this film. You had Scout, Taylor Compton, you had Callum McCullum, Stuart Townsend, who I love. What was it like working with those guys on the boat? It seems like such an awesome experience.
Yeah, so great, so great. Callum, who I think he's got a great show series coming out soon, The Librarians. He's just such a great talent, so super funny. The guy's amazing, and he's super talented. So it was great to get to know him. And Stewart, just a solid, solid actor, just someone who he just adjusts to everything that's going on around him and in a scene. So he's just so organic and Scout was just I mean, from the first day I met her, you can see there's nothing pretentious about her. She's real. She's the best thing about her was she's willing to take a punch and give one back. So it was a great cast. Lorena that we had and Maverick and Tom O'Connell. I mean, they're just good people.
I didn't know what to expect when I talked to Scout last week, but she like immediately vaulted up my list of my favorite people I've ever talked to. It was just like talking to an old friend that I had met 20 years ago instead of someone I met 20 minutes ago or something like that.
Yeah, she's an amazing talent, and I think she's directing now as well. So she's just stretching out her talent.
You've been doing movies now for what, almost 32 years, 33 years, something like that.
Yeah.
What's the character the audiences relate to that you've played the most? I think, and I have an idea of what it is. I'm just curious what people say to you, what they bring up when they talk to you on the street.
That's interesting. I think because of syndication, Chicago PD is constantly making rounds on syndication. So I'll be traveling. I mean, my wife and I have an RV, and we drive around the country a lot, and it's amazing the places I'll be at. I'll be at a gas station. Some guy with a beard down to here, will come up and go, "Hey, Antonio, I love you." So I get a lot of that. I get a lot of the Pacific.
John Basilone, yeah.
John Basilone, which was just an honor to be a part of. So those two, I think those are the two, and Selena, I get a lot too.
That'd be the one I figured it would be the most, Chris. I figured that would be what people talk
Yeah,
to
I
you about
get
the
I get
most.
that. I'd say in that order, it's probably like PD, Selena, and Basilone are like right there, neck and neck.
When you did the Pacific, did you have any idea who John Basilone was? Because when you read that story the first time, you're like, this can't be right. This guy did all of this. You're like, no, he really did, and you're just like, it feels like tall tales, like Davy Crockett at that point. But
Yeah, I honestly I didn't know too much about him. I knew there was a statue of him because growing up in New Jersey, in Clifton, New Jersey, he was from Raritan, New Jersey. And there's a big statue of him, like with the muscles and holding a 30 cal machine gun, and he's barefoot with ripped pants. He looks like Rambo. So I knew there was a statue. I didn't really know too much about him. So obviously I did research and, just like you said, you would have thought it was a Hollywood made up story. But I mean, he was the real deal.
yeah, I'm sitting in Philadelphia, so Clifton is not that far from where I am, probably about an hour or
Oh,
something like that.
sorry about what happened in
Uh,
Philly. Crazy.
People don't realize there's a really small airstrip like 10 minutes outside of the main area. And people, there's like small planes take off from there. But yeah, it wasn't good here last week, more or
Yeah.
less. But one of my favorite John Seda performances is a movie I don't think you would think of, but I saw Undisputed in theaters. I made my dad take me to see Undisputed in 2002. Walter Hill, you, Wesley Snipes, Peter Falk as Mindy Ripstein. One of the funniest 10 minutes of film I've ever seen. It's just him just cursing constantly. What was it like? What was it like working with Peter on Undisputed as Mindy Ripstein?
Oh man, rest in peace, Peter. I mean, that was an amazing. Pretty much all my scenes were with Peter, and it's just like Columbo. It's like I'm working with Columbo. It's just it was one of those pinch me kind of things. and he was just so awesome. He was just so giving. He was the coolest guy. He's such a basketball fan. I believe he was a Knicks fan. If I'm wrong, please forgive me, but I believe it was Knicks. And he wanted to hurry up on set, finish so he can go back to his trailer and watch the Knicks game. So, you had to know your lines because he was like, hey, come on, say your line already. I gotta watch the next game. Come on. But it was absolutely incredible. It was a great, and Walter Hill, I loved him, worked with him on a couple things. That was a great time.
Yeah, anytime I think of you, I just think of you saying, "Mr. Ripstein wants you to do this and everything." Like, that's the voice I hear when I think of you. I know everybody will say Chicago and everything like that. For me, it's undisputed. I don't know
Right,
why.
right, right. That was such a different, I don't even know. I don't know what, I don't know. There was a different accent. I don't know what it was, but that was fun. Yeah, I loved it. I was Peter Falk's, nice way of saying it, right hand guy in prison.
Did they see you in Oz and like say, "Hey, do you want to go back to prison and not get like burnt to a crisp in this?" Or like, how did that work?
Oz, that was another one. That was, man,
I should
that
not have
was,
been watching that when I was watching it. I'm only 38, so when that came out, I was like 15.
uh,
But it was on HBO. You could not watch it. It was like the show.
yeah, that's like, it's incredible. I mean, when we worked on that, we had no idea how impactful it was going to be. I mean, Oz really turned out to be like the show that paved the way for like The Sopranos and Boardwalk Empire and and so forth. Uh, and it was Tom Fontana, who I worked with on that and on Homicide: Life on the Street. Just incredible. It was something so different. Never seen something like that before. And the character I portrayed, honestly, out of everything I've ever done, Dino Ortolani from Oz is probably my favorite.
That's
Probably my
interesting
favorite.
to hear because he wasn't in it for that long, but every time he was in
Right.
it, you're like, you got to see what this guy's up. It was only the first season and stuff like that.
He was probably my favorite because when I filmed that, I was also filming Selena at the same time, and they're two completely different characters.
So
Dino is this Italian hitman, whatever in prison, and then Chris is this sweet guy guitarist, that Tejano guitarist that you would never heard of fly. And I was filming at the same time, so that I didn't know if I was going to be able to pull that off. I trusted the director Darnell Martin. I trusted her, and she just said, "Look, just trust me," and it worked out.
the cast of that is so unique, and I think about it all the time because you've got you and you've got Chris Maloney, J.K. Simmons, and Dean Winters all playing these sadistic prisoners that are just doing terrible things to people. But then they're also playing characters in Law and Order at the same time on a different network who
Right,
aren't anything like that at all.
right.
But before we wrap up here, what can you tell us, John, that you're going to be doing in the future that we can see you in? Any projects in development at the moment?
Well, right now, I'm just got a couple of things that I'm pitching myself that I'm, with a couple of partners that show wise that what we've created and we're trying to pitch. I have a script that I wrote, a film script that I'm, trying to get some people around and involved and, try to do the whole thing, the investors and try to get it made. So I'm trying to create some of my own stuff uh, as I'm, reading scripts and seeing what's next.
Oh, it sounds cool. I can't wait to see what you do in the future. I hope everybody sees Into the Deep and they love it. I mean, I love sharks, so we'll see what happens. But it was a pleasure talking to you, John. I appreciate it. Hopefully, we'll talk again soon.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you.